Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering the revival special of Rocko's Modern Life, which is Static Cling.
After being in space for 20 years, Rocko and his friends attempt to adjust to an even more modern life in the 21st century. However, when he learns that his favorite 90s cartoon isn't on the air anymore, Rocko tries locating its creator.
Yes, and apparently that's going to help save the town because the economy's going out. But you caused it. There's nothing wrong with it. We saw all that gold bars and money everywhere. What's wrong with your economy?
Well, before we start,
be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on Paws videos and World of Paws podcast.
Yes. So, what we're wondering, first off, we're going to ask you this question, which is something we normally don't do, so you can think about this as you listen. Was this the reboot or the revival or the return that you were expecting?
Right.
So that's the question of the podcast.
Right.
So now it was great to see Rocko and Heifer and Philbert and all the other characters, to hear the B-52 song and have the animation look exactly like it looked when the show was originally.
Right, that was pretty incredible. I mean, usually, it always looks newer, or you CGI or something, but this was one of the few times where it looked like nothing had changed, which I guess promotes the little message of the show.
Nickelodeon seems to be really do well at that, because Hey Arnold was the same way.
Yes.
With the final movie that finished off the series.
Right.
It was exactly. And then the people sounded exact. So Nickelodeon really has forte for doing this.
Right. Now, this is one of 3 revivals that Nickelodeon had planned out. It's just that this and Invader Zim took a while. Of course, as you mentioned, we got Hey Arnold the Jungle movie, which concluded the series, which aired on TV. But because apparently it didn't do so well in the ratings because newer kids weren't watching it, so they held off on the Rocko revival and the Invader Zim revival, which will do the same as finishing the stories. They decided after 2 years of nothing, they're gonna put them on Netflix, so that way people who did watch it, that'll be the target for viewership, and it seemed to have worked well because both finales served very well for fans who've been waiting to see the end of the series again.
Right, and I did watch the original series, so I was very ecstatic for both Rocko and Invader Zim being on Netflix.
Right. And it was great, as you said, hearing all the voice actors again. Of course, Kazozaki as Rocko and Tom Kenny as Heifer.
I remember when I first learned that Tom Kenny was Heifer, and Rascal told me, this was the hilarious point, and she said, "Oh, do you know Tom Kenny did a voice on that show?" And I said, "Don't tell me it was Heifer." She said, "Okay, I won't." I was like, "Oh my God!"
And that was his very first voice acting role.
And again, we know he's a man of 1,000 voices because none of his characters sound the same. I don't know how he does it, but he does. So, but yes, the return of the entire cast. I think one person was missing, or did everyone return?
I think everyone that was in the main cast that you saw came back. Because I know you said the man that did one of the big heads passed on, so they got a replacement one, which they did with Hey Arnold too. I mean, the people that either grew up got replaced, or people passed on got replaced, but everyone else was the same.
Yes, and it was fun and fantastic. It was just as much fun as when I would watch when it came on in the 90s. It was fantastic. It was fun. I know I said the same thing.
Right. And then for this one, as I said, Rocko and his friends are back from being in space for over 20 years. And then you see that everything has been updated. No one looks different, but the town's different. I mean, now you got iPhones, or as they say, old phones. There are no more comic book stores. They're all digital. Superhero movies are gritty like DC Comics.
But really, really big man is still around.
Well, apparently. They got drones and technology everywhere. They got mismatches of food together and food trucks all over the place, and
Philbert has a bunch of kids.
Apparently so, yeah. and it's hilarious because Rocko just couldn't adjust to it because it was just so much crap at once. I mean, it wasn't so much, it was so much change, just like it's overburdened for the people who are in it now and have grown up with it. It's just like it's so much media and everything. Mm-hmm. It seems like it's like you feel with Rocko that it's so much thrown at you. Like, oh, you remember this? Well, all this is different. Remember that show you liked? It's gone now. No reruns. And his obsession with bringing back the Fatheads, which is the cartoon he liked, it was supposed to fix everything, which ended up being one of the standpoints of the messages of the show.
Mm-hmm. And there were several. And the biggest one, I think, was Rocko was really afraid of change. And that's when he kept saying, what are you doing? But it's not the same. It's different. And he kept saying that over and over and over, even until the end of the show.
Right.
And they wanted to let him know that there's nothing wrong with different. Different is fine.
Right. And then that was the thing. Mm-hmm. When they wanted to bring back the Fatheads, they wanted new. Instead, getting the original creator to be too expensive. Well, no, the Fatheads was the name of the cartoon.
Oh, okay.
Right. I know it was based off the Big Heads, of course.
Oh, okay, the parody.
Right.
I remember.
And when they did it, they said, oh, we can get the original creator? No, that's too expensive. So we're going to make it cheap by having two idiots do the reboot. We're going to do a computerized, a bunch of worms are going to work on it. It'll be the easiest thing we ever made. So it was clearly a commentary on reboots on itself. Like, if you don't have the original people behind it, it's going to be lifeless and shallow and crappy. Mm-hmm. Which, to a point, you can't really agree too much. I mean, yeah, there are some crappy reboots made out there.
But there are some reboots that have been fantastic.
Right.
Without the originals. Right. Not either because they've passed on, or they simply wouldn't be able to do the voices anymore.
Right. We've seen reboots done by huge fans of the show and some involvement of the original people or cast and stuff. And like Thundercats 2011, DuckTales, Voltron, all these. They have a lot of
even
reboots out there.
Even the Star Trek web series done by Vic Mignogna.
Right. All of them are done by really passionate fans, and they really keep the essence of it while updated enough to where you are okay with the changes. Absolutely. It's just enough change.
And these ones we mentioned are standout examples. I mean, just glimmering examples of how to do it right.
Right. And then, of course, when they went to find Ralph, who is the Big Head's son, it turns out they showed what happened to him after, like, the series ended, is that he had all of this, he achieved his dream, but he still wasn't happy, so he's gonna go find himself, and they hadn't heard from him in so long.
20 years.
Yeah.
It was 20 years.
Yeah, and and the postcards stopped coming in, so they went to find him. And then he was out somewhere in the desert selling, like, ice cream and stuff.
With an ice cream truck in the desert. At least he was brilliant enough to have an idea that would work. Because unless they didn't have money, but who would buy ice cream in the desert?
Right. And Rocko's like, okay, you got to come back and write more of the Fatheads. And, he said that, I'm not into really the cartoons anymore. And then there was another message of change when you found out Ralph actually ended up becoming Rachel. Mm-hmm. And it looks like Rocko and his friends were really okay with it.
That's the way it should be.
Right. And then when she came back and saw her dad, and then what's his name? As Ed Bighead? Is that his name? Yeah, Ed. He was upset. He said, I have no son. It's like, that was the name of an episode. Like, well, now you don't. Right. Now you don't have one. But that was another part of the message about accepting change.
But by the end of the episode, both Bev and Ed Bighead was just so happy that their daughter was back in their lives. They were really, really happy.
Right.
And it was so cute. And they were looking at each other, Rachel and Ed, or I would say the dad.
Yeah.
And they were looking at each other, and it was like a love story, and he ran and they hugged, and then the mom came. And it was so cute. And that's when Rocko said, wait a minute.
Right. So he was upset because they added a baby to the show. Right. He did exactly what this show did a revival special. Mm-hmm. Not a whole reboot, not a continuation, just like showing what's happened now, finish off whatever, and that was it. And Rocko was upset because it was different from the one he grew up with and watched. So
and that was another message.
Right, that was the commentary, like, just because they changed some things doesn't mean it's gonna be all bad.
Exactly.
Which is true. It's just that it had that combined with every person who is not the original creator of the show who does the reboot sucks automatically was sort of the one that you could really disagree on depending on how you view reboots as a whole or certain ones.
Definitely. But on the whole, it was fun. As I said, the animation was perfect in capturing the magic that you saw in the 90s.
Right.
The voice actors were wonderful. The story was short and sweet, had some great messages in it, and maybe they'll do another one. I mean, I don't know if this is going to be it, but 45 minutes went by so quickly, it seemed like it was a lot less time. So maybe they can do a series of little, we just call this little mini movies.
Yeah.
And give us some more stories. And who doesn't want to hear more of Tom Kenny and Carlos Alazarki?
Right. Yes. So, yeah, and I'll be looking forward if Nickelodeon did more specials. Well, we know they're going to do a Loud House movie. We're going to do a Ninja Turtles movie and stuff through Netflix. And it looks like a majority of these movies and stuff are just end caps for their shows. So you think about the other three they have added have all been revival specials to finish a story that was canceled, or like on a hiatus thing and it's a grand finale. So it looks like we could be getting some more of these with shows that Nickelodeon canceled on in the future, since these have done so well.
That would be fantastic. So if you got to see this movie or mini movie, whichever you like to call it, let us know what you think in the comments below. If you were an original viewer of Rocko's Modern Life and this made you happier than ice cream, let us know in the comments below. And if you weren't pleased with it, let us know what you think could have been done better in the comments below.
Right. And also be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on future videos and World of Paws podcasts.
That's right.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Mask Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. With her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket. Give it to you later on in the form of a locket.